Sometimes you gotta accessorize. What is up, everybody? My name is Advance, and this is Advanced Sports Talk. So, as you can see, my merch came in. We got masks. I'm actually gonna take this off so it won't muffle my voice no more. Got masks. This is the Advance logo right here. T-shirts, all different colors and varieties. And yeah, this is not my merch, but I'm still repping my team even when we lose. But getting into this football breakdown, I'm gonna start with not gonna work my way backwards, but I always start with the Bucks. Monday night game. Man, I don't know what is going on with the Buccaneers. I think they just allergic to prime time. That's what it was. They just allergic to prime time. So we had the Rams, and if you watch my video from last week or last couple of weeks, this was actually the game that I had projected that if we lost this game, it wouldn't really affect me that much. Yeah, I'm affected at the fact that I'm upset at the fact that we lost, but at the same time I realize that we can't win them all. But how we lost, man, that was a dagger. But no, we're gonna get into that in a second. But I said if we this game wouldn't really hurt me too much because the Rams, they're not really high up in terms of our rivalry. We're mainly just concerned about the people in our division. The real thing that we got to do now is just rally back. Or we got to rally together and beat the Chiefs. So when we beat the Chiefs, that puts a stamp of approval on our performance, and we go into the bye week on a high note. Getting into the game, we went up 14-7 in the second quarter. Then they went right down the field and tied the game. Now, I was real concerned at the fact that, our defense was playing such loose zones. Like it just seemed like that. Whereas beforehand, our corners wouldn't let these guys get away. Now it's like they could just find. It's starting to turn into the defense from last year. And I think what really happened was the fact I had noticed this turnaround when Vita Vea got hurt. So when Vita got hurt, that took away that interior pass rush that we had. Because when we ran a 3-4, we had Vita, we had JPP, and we had Sue. We had depth on the defensive line. So we had Sue playing defensive end, and then Barrett would come up from the linebacker position as an edge rusher. So it would look like it's really a 3-5, but it's a sneaky 4-4, But yeah, when Vita went down, we had to shuffle some things around. So we had to move Sue back to tackle, back to nose tackle. So, so now he's playing his natural position. We brought up that second string. So we had depth, but the fact that I guess Vita going down because he was such a big part of that middle. But even though Sue's playing his natural position, Sue is older, so those football years, weighed on him, But Brady throws an interception. They go down. Our defense holds them to 3. No, they kicked the field goal before the half. So 17-14 in the half. Now, the stat for Sean McVay and the Rams is that at that point in time they was 31-0. They was 31-0 whenever leading by halftime. So even though it was 3 points, that was the 3 points that mattered. But we're gonna get into that later. So coming out again, the defense was real lax. But I'll say this though, they came in clutch in the fourth quarter. So it was a shootout. We was going back and forth. You know, Brady was getting touchdowns, Goff was getting touchdowns, and you know, I think this was Fournette's week to go off. You know, or to get the majority of the carries. But you know, so in the fourth quarter, it came down to the final drive. You know, so our team stopped it. Our team stopped them. It's 24-24. Matt Gay, ironically, the kicker that we released, you know, kicked the game-winning field goal. He kicked the field goal to go up by 3. So now it's time for Brady to do one of his superhero-like comebacks, you know, and then come to find out it didn't happen. So we're driving down the field. Now, I think this was Brady's fault because I'm like, why are you throwing it? Why are you throwing it that far downfield into double coverage? You know, we still had, I think we had one or two timeouts left. It was 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, or 2.5 minutes left in the game. We still had plenty of time to drive, to put together a game-winning drive or a game-tying drive to go into overtime. So they was giving them the middle of the field, like 10 to 15 yards. So Brady throws this ball. It goes. Who was he trying to hit? I think it was Antonio Brown. It goes over Antonio Brown's head, and the Rams picked it off. So at that point, that was the game. So now, positives. We know Brady can throw the ball downfield. Now we just got to get the receivers on a. We got to get that accuracy to match up. I don't know whether that's on the receiver's part or on Brady's part, but they got to come together. Well, I'm not even gonna say that because they have come together. You know, like after the first touchdown with that Mike Evans fought and clawed to get to. Thank you, my fantasy team appreciates it. But yeah, like he fought and clawed to get to that touchdown. And you know, Brady went over to him, and they was talking and chopping it up real quick, and he even said like, you know, yeah. So you know, he's like, you know, looking at him like, yeah, good job, you know, whatever. And what was crazy was even when Brady threw his first interception, I thought BA was gonna come over. You know how in Madden, how when the two players sitting there and they're like, man, I don't know what happened. Then the coach comes over and is like, yo, get your ass up. Look here, dude. Look here, man. But yeah, so you know, BA just came over and just pat him on the back as if to say like, get him next time. Positives, we still in good shape. Cause even basically all we did was move from the 5th seed down to the 6th seed. And so remember, we got 7 now. So it don't matter, you know. So as it stands, that win put the Panthers in first in their division. So they switched places with the Seahawks. The Seahawks is now above us in the 5th seed. We got the 6th seed. Arizona got the 7th seed. So we got to be careful, or the NFC West is just going to knock us out. All right, so moving on into the rest of the breakdown. I'm gonna talk about this first. So, Fallen Soldier. Man, this really hurt me when I saw it. Like, Joe Burrow is out for the season. He got sandwiched in between 2 defenders when he was tackled, or they was trying to sack him when he threw the ball. He stepped into it, and man, his left knee got hyperextended. And they haven't really come out and released details on the severity of the injury yet. But man, all we know is that he's out for the season. Like, your leg don't bend like that and you just pop back next week. No amount of deer antler in the world is gonna fix that. Not with the time that they got left. But man, like with Joe Burrow and for the time that he was here, for the time that he played, man, he left an impression. So I have no doubt that next year he's gonna come back with a vengeance. I'm just glad I don't gotta play him. Or do we? Yeah, so they was playing the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins and the football team. But hey man, that really hurt. But hey, he went out throwing 203 yards and 1 touchdown. So there's that. But that just goes to show you how bad that front four is. It's like everybody in Washington's front four, that whole defensive line is first round draft picks. So I'm not surprised that they got to him. But man, it's just heartbreaking when you see somebody's season end or whatever. Like I know that the Buccaneers takes people out, but no, they don't. It rarely take them out for the season. But yeah, so the Bengals ended up losing to the Washington football team 20-9. So staying with the AFC North, my hometown team, Baltimore Ravens, versus the Tennessee Titans. So this was a mad back and forth game. And it looked like the Ravens was dominating the game for a minute until the fourth quarter when the Titans came back and they ended up tying the game and then going into overtime. I'm sorry, the Titans came back. They took the lead. Then Justin Tucker, with 18 seconds left, tied the game with a field goal, and then they went into overtime. So now it's 24-24 going into overtime, and Derrick Henry sealed the deal with a 29-yard touchdown run. So Titans beat the Ravens 30-24. Carolina Panthers trying to bounce back from a sound defeat from last week. So they just ended up pouncing on the Lions 20-0. So my man, my personal favorite, Phillip Walker. For those of you that didn't watch the XFL this year before they got canceled, you don't know who he is, but I do. Former starting quarterback of the Houston Roughnecks. He threw 2 interceptions, but still 258 yards and 1 touchdown. Got DJ Moore 120 yards receiving. I don't know how long Bridgewater gonna be out, but I think I might need to pick up PJ Walker on my fantasy team. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Cleveland Browns. And I know this was an emotional game on so many levels. The Browns snuck out with the victory 22-17. And Eagles fans are calling for Jalen Hurts. The New England Patriots versus the Houston Texans. So yeah, this was a war. So Cam throwing for 365 yards and 1 touchdown. This is a rare week where he didn't lead his team in rushing. Deshaun Watson throwing for 344 yards and 2 touchdowns. Demir Berg getting 132 yards receiving. Texans ended up pulling out the victory 27-20. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, Big Ben throwing 260 yards for 2 touchdowns. James Conner, 89 yards rushing. Deontay Johnson, 111 yards receiving. Steelers beat the Jaguars 27-3. Steelers the team to beat. Still undefeated at 10-0. They're the only undefeated team in the AFC. I think it's safe to say that they secured that top seed right there. Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton got everybody. We all thought that this was going to be Jameis's time to shine. Especially a couple weeks ago after, the eat a W. We thought that this was going to be his time to really come in and prove that, he can finish up the season or just mop up whenever, however long Drew Brees is going to be out. But this was actually the time for Taysom Hill to start. And I'll say, it looked like a completely different team. Man, like Taysom Hill, Like watching how he just navigated the pressure was amazing. It was almost like Ultra Instinct, like because when the pocket was collapsing around him, you know, he's just like, step up, step up, step up. You know, like he's just casually like sidestepping the pressure, and man, and it is like, it's not like these was like passes where it's like he's doing all of this and then it's gonna end up incomplete. No, like these cats are making catches downfield. He finished with 233 yards passing. Did I mention he could run? Yeah. He led his team in rushing, 10 attempts for 51 yards. Then Latavius Murray, 12 attempts for 49 yards. Alvin Kamara, 13 attempts for 45 yards. Michael Thomas, 100 yards. I don't even gotta tell you that. 100 yards receiving. So yeah, New Orleans Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons 24-9. Tua, Miami Dolphins versus the Denver Broncos. Yeah, this wasn't a really impressive showing from Tua. He only threw for 83 yards and 1 touchdown. Yeah, Broncos beat the Dolphins 20-13. Oh snap, hold up. New York Jets versus the LA Chargers. The Jets decided they wanted to show that they had a little fight this week. I wonder if it had something to do with a certain unnamed quarterback taking over the reins mid-season. Yeah, Flacco, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Justin Herbert, 366 yards and 3 touchdowns. Man, Keenan Allen, 16 receptions on 19 targets for 145 yards. Man, I know Mike Williams got a touchdown. Keenan Allen got a touchdown. Hunter Henry got a touchdown. Man, Justin Herbert was handing out touchdowns like Oprah. Chargers beat the Jets 34-28. Green Bay Packers versus the Indianapolis Colts. Green Bay showed us how to lose a lead in this game. It was 28-14 going into the half. Indianapolis scored 11 unanswered points in the third quarter. The game was tied at the end of the fourth quarter with a series of field goals. So then the game runs into overtime. Back and forth, they had their chances. Indianapolis ends up winning on a field goal. The Colts end up winning by a field goal, 34-31. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Minnesota Vikings. And Andy Dalton is back. 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. Zeke rushing for 100. Dalvin Cook rushing for 100. Kirk Cousins threw for 314 yards and 3 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 123. Justin Jefferson got 86. Amari Cooper, 81 yards receiving. Dallas pulls out the victory, 31-28. And as weird as it sounds, I'm actually glad that they won because I was running out of jokes. Jerry Jones don't care about black people. Oh, don't get me wrong. Jerry Jones is still a piece of shit. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a divisional matchup. Busting shots back and forth in the shootout. Chiefs ended up pulling out the victory, 35-31. The Chiefs almost like to lose this game, I swear. Alright, so that'll do it for this episode of Advanced Sports Talk. So, if you like the merch, got shirts like this for right now. Shirts, leggings, joggers. The link is going to be in the description down below. So, you know, cop a t-shirt. Let somebody know you support me. I also got music coming. We got a docu-series coming. Check out my game channel at Advanced Plays on YouTube or VMX 99.99. So, like, share, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Advanced Sports Talk, Advanced Plays or Advanced Gaming on Facebook, Advanced 110 on Instagram. Follow me, holla at me. I'm out.